In the heart of Denton, Texas, stood a thriving African American community called Quakertown. Built by freedmen, faith, and determination, it was a place where families dreamed of a better future. But in 1923, everything changed. The residents were forced to leave their homes, their neighborhood erased to make way for a park. But today, we return to uncover their story alongside local historians and remember the community that refused to be forgotten.
My name is Karen Blucher, and this is my partner, Alma Clark, and we're standing in the Quakertown house in the historical park of Denton County. And I'm going to tell you the story of Quakertown. After the Civil War, the former enslaved people had to decide on where they were going to go. Were they going to stay around their plantation and be considered slaves? Or are they going to move? 27 families from the plantations in the Dallas area decided to move together to a little bitty town north of Dallas called Denton. When they got here, they found some land and moved in, established their churches, built homes, opened businesses. And the main thing they did, the very first thing they did, is apply to the county for a school because they knew their kids couldn't go to the white schools. And so the county gave them a school, and the county called it Colored School Number 17. But the people of Freedmantown, that's what they called their settlement at first, Freedmantown, they decided that they would call their school Frederick Douglass School. And so the town grew. The little community of Freedmantown grew because they had a school. People began to move into Freedmantown. Freedmantown is in the southeast part of Denton, the city of Denton. And so many of the people of Freedmantown worked near or on the square, and they were tired of walking back and forth every day. And so they began to look for land closer to the square. They found some land about 3 or 4 blocks from the county courthouse and square along Pecan Creek. Nobody wanted the land because it flooded, the creek flooded. And so they began to move in. And gradually they all moved to this new land and called their new community Quakertown. We believe that they called their community Quakertown in honor of the Quakers who were abolitionists and helped of the Underground Railroad. And so as the years went by, people began to not want a black community so close to the town square. Also, in 1901, a white women's college opened up. And it was right across the street from Quakertown. The president of the college thought that the state would not give him accreditation and therefore state money for his college because of the location of being so near a black community. So he started talking up to the city leaders, you got to move Quakertown. It isn't safe for our young girls to walk to the town square. They have to walk right through Quakertown. Well, the city council didn't want Quakertown so near the courthouse and the business center. And so, they began to think, how can we get rid of them? Well, their wives belonged to a white women's club. the women's club. And they wanted a city park. After all, Dallas had a park. Why can't we have a park? And so that idea began to brew. And the leaders told the women, if you will get out the vote, we will have a bond election for a city park. And as you might remember, the women got the vote a year before. So they were all in favor of that. And they began to knock on doors and tell the people to vote for the park, vote for the park. The city paper ran articles on how good a park would be. Well, the bond election happened in 1921.
I was about to say.
Yes, 1921, and it passed.
Yeah.
It didn't pass by an overwhelming majority. I guess some people voted no because they didn't want their tax dollars to go in for a park. But I hope that many of the people that voted no because it wasn't fair to the people who lived in Quakertown, because everybody knew the park was going to be in Quakertown. Therefore, everybody had to move out of Quakertown.
This is my husband. His name was William Clark. This is his mother. Her name was Maud. This is the house that they lived in when they was in Quakertown. And if you go to the park in the vicinity where the city swimming pool is, and this house was on Terry Street. Her name was Maud Wood Clark Hembry. My husband's father passed away when he's about 5, and he married her. And the reason, he told me a lot of stories about Quakertown. He was about 21 years old when they had to relocate, and he was very disappointed.
Yes.
If you look at these floors, this is the original floors in this house. And this house was built, as I told you, in 1904. Here are some of the pictures. This was the Maddox house. He had another house, but he used that as a boarding house.
Okay.
And that was Henry Maddox, and his wife was named Charlotte. And if you want to see, it tells you about it. This is one of the principals of the school. These are the teachers that they had there. You have any idea what you think that the salaries that the teachers got a month?
A month?
Yes.
$25.
30. Isn't that something?
I sold them short $5.
Yes. Okay.
Wow. And this school, if I remember correctly, Linda, with the trailer you sent me, was burned down in like
1913.
1913.
And they used the St. James Church, which is this is it right here, for a part. And also until they could get it, so St. James Church served as a part, and the large hall. These are the churches that's how they lived.
And they built these in quick fashion too.
Yes. Okay.
And in this community, there were also white folks living in
Yes,
Quakertown.
there's white folks in the community. Well, I know I think about 27 different families. I do have some of the names of the people. These are the Skinners right here. And they was the one that all right, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
And we turn it over, and if you want to see.
So he was a toy repairer.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Mm-hmm. We were talking the other day, yesterday, Linda and I were talking about how teaching was a prestigious job.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I still see it today as being that, but now, you know, I don't feel as if it's looked at in that regard, just because where education is now in our country, and not just here, but in other places as well. But because we're here in the United States, you know, it's interesting to see the shift on how education was a very prestigious field to go in, and now we're at where we're at with
Okay.
it. So
This is the final principal that they had, Fred Moore. And we still have a school named after him right now, and we also have the park that's named after Fred Moore. This lady, my husband spoke highly of her, Angelina Burr.
BURR.
That's her right there.
Okay, so she was the first black to purchase
Uh-huh.
land in Quakertown.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. And she was also the midwife to the doctor. That's the doctor.
Mhm.
He's good looking, isn't he? and this is the picture of his wife and children.
Okay, and he is Mr. Dr. Moulton.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Now, is there anything named after him?
No.
Any markers or anything?
Nothing.
No, no.
This is his home. Is it still standing?
Yes.
Oh, no, it's not standing.
And see,
Okay.
what it was, their home served as a dual purpose.
Mhm.
His office was there. A lot of the people where they had the cafes, as they called it back there, then they also used their homes as this house that we're in here now. The bedroom was a part of the barber shop.
Okay.
So that's how most of the homes served as a dual purpose.
For sure.
Over here is just some of the artifacts when they was building the senior building in Quakertown that they dug up where the people had their.
Wow.
So.
Do we know who's in those
That's
pictures?
some of the doctor's medicine. He was mostly an herbal doctor. He used a lot of herbs and things. So these are the bottles and some of the things that he found that he used as in his practice there.
This house was owned by Mr. Henry, and he married Maud, and this is Maud's mom, Margaret Wood.
Which would be my husband's grandmother.
Yeah,
grandmother.
grandmother.
Uh-huh.
And so her daughter lived, was married to the man who owned this house. Her son was the owner of the house next door,
Oh, this White House.
the Woods house.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not open yet for tours. But,
Can we sneak our head in?
well, you can ask Megan if you can, she'll open it.
Okay.
It needs to be painted. And so this house and this house are like brother and sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you one of the oldest women that, you know, has a great memory about?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm 97.
97. That's beautiful.
But my husband he was born in 1900,
Okay.
and I was born in 1928. So
Okay.
that's the difference there.
Yeah.
But I'm telling the things that he told me
you.
because he lived there
Yes.
in Quakertown. Okay. You asked about the houses. These are the type of houses that they had.
These were beautiful houses.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
These were beautiful houses.
Yes, yes,
Man.
yes.
They
It's where they were.
weren't torn. They weren't dilapidated or anything. They
No,
just-
no. Most of them, that's it.
Wow.
And here again is the house that we showed you.
Yes,
This is
right here.
This is the Skinner's house where she ran the nursery school. So these are some of the children at the Skinner's house is the nursery.
Okay.
You can get a better.
Yeah, Alice
And where their husbands and things. Okay.
So truly self-sustained because they had their own daycare
Everything.
as well. So
they
didn't
had
need
their
to
own
depend on
daycare.
anyone
They had their
else.
own doctor. They had their school. They even had a drugstore. They had their own drugstore, grocery store, funeral home. As you said, it was a town within the town.
Yep.
This was Maddox, I think I told you about it. No, that's Crawford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Crawford.
Okay, all right.
And then there
And
was
now
a
this-
Quakertown Society.
Yes,
What about them?
These are back the churches and the school right here, as you can see. This picture right here is the pictures of the ladies where the St. James AME Church, which is the oldest black church in the city of Denton, and it is the second oldest black church in Denton County.
Okay.
This is where we celebrated our 100th anniversary, and we dressed like that way. I'm a part of the St. James Church.
You got jazzed up, huh?
Yep. This is another area that came about, doesn't really happen, where we done away with the desegregation, see, and the integration.
Do you feel, what are your thoughts on desegregation when you had to experience it?
I was excited about it due to the fact when I was growing up, I stayed in another town called Lampasas, Texas, and there were certain towns that we could not stop as black people. Say Meridian was one, Killeen, where the camp is right now, and we had what was known as the Blue Book or the Green Book.
Yeah.
So you've heard about it. The places that was not kind to the black folks. So I encountered a lot of that growing up. But, okay. So these are some of the folks that was the Haynes were a part. He was a part. The Haynes was a part of Quakertown. And he went on to be, okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it looked when the TW, because they were the one that really brought about the demise.
Yes.
It was known as the College of Industrial Arts, and predominantly for the white girls. And then they later named it TWU.
Oh, okay.
So that's how it got it. But at first, that's what it was.
Okay.
And Quakertown was established long before TWU was. These are just some more pictures of some of the people that was a part of the Quakertown school. Let's see.
This is beautiful.
This is the principal.
This is the principal.
And these are his daughters.
Yeah, I can tell. They all look alike.
This one taught school for many, many years, and we finally got a school named after her. Her name is Alice Alexander now, so we have a school now. They renamed one of the schools after her.
Okay. That's beautiful.
Karen taught at that school before it was, first of all, it was called
Robert E. Lee.
Oh, so prior to that, it
Yes.
was called.
Yes.
They
But-
done away with all of those schools that was named after those old generals and that they had. So.
But even when I was teaching there, it was always called Lee. And my fifth graders thought that the photograph hanging in the library of the first principal was Robert E. Lee.
Oh, man.
So it wasn't talked about who was named after except Lee.
Yeah, just Lee.
Yes, yes. By that time. Mm-hmm. And then it was changed to Alice Alexander.
Yeah.
All right.
So these are the 4 rooms. 1 to 3 rooms, rather. When you come here, what type of memories and emotions
does this bring for you, knowing that, you know, your husband once, you know, stayed in this residence and was in stories in which you're talking about, this house literally housed some of those things?
Wonderful. And the reason why I say that, it was the forethought and the tenacity that they had. Remind you now, all of this came about that they did not have the free opportunity, even that I had, even before when we did the laws, the Jim Crow laws, they still. So I think it's wonderful. They were strong people,
For sure.
very strong.
Why should people visit Quakertown? If you had to make a pitch to someone who has to plan a summer vacation and it's all going to be based on historic sites, why do you think that someone should come to Quakertown?
Just find and feel their whole history, especially anyone, is good for the country and for the healing of the country. Because I put it this way, God made mankind, is what I'm saying. But mankind is the one that has brought about all this that we have, that we encountering right now. So that's my opinion. But I'm so happy that you're taking the opportunity to let the people know that we all have something to contribute in the world in which we live in right now.
This is true. I appreciate
And therefore, we're standing on some very strong shoulders of people. There was a lot of good people, a lot of good white folks also. So that's it.
Yeah.
My name is Reverend Reginald Thomas Logan. I'm the pastor emeritus of the Galilee Missionary Baptist Church in the city of Sanger, Texas. I live here in the city of Denton. I was born and raised here. I now live in a residence in a neighborhood that was established in 1964, and I live in that house even today. My great-great-grandfather was John Robert Logan. He came from Kentucky in the 1890s. My grandfather was Lord Logan Sr. He was born here in 1896, the year of the courthouse. The Logans have been here ever since then. We're still here. Some moved away during the movement from Quakertown to Southeast Denton. My grandfather, John Robert Logan, he moved to California, in San Bernardino, California. But his sons remained here in the city. And even today, one of the sons, his name is Will Logan. He has a shoe shop here right off the square. It's called Logan Shoe Shop. It was established in 1957. Actually, the shoe shop was there. He was the owner of it before he could put his name on it. But now his name is on it. It's been established. It's been there. We've had a barbecue place here. It was called Steve's Barbecue, he was the Logan. He was the son of Will Logan.
What was the specialty of that?
Oh, ribs.
Ribs, that was it.
But the stuffed sausage that his wife stuffed and the miniature potato pies that she made every day.
I can tell you.
Yeah,
and we get a little close to lunchtime too, so I know it's just sparkling nostalgia.
He was renowned for his barbecue. He babied his barbecue ribs.
Okay.
He would arrive there in the morning at 4:30 a.m. That was Steve Logan. He would arrive right off of Hickory Street here in the city of Denton. His demise now,
Sure.
And he died a few years ago. But the Logans have been here. We've established a restaurant here in the new Quaker, we call it. Once they had moved over, it's called Logan's Restaurant and Cafe, and then it was Logan Barbershop, located on the corner of Skinner and Robinson Street. But the great thing that I want to share today is the history in regards to Quakertown Park. Now what you will see here is an overlay that will show the way things are now.
Okay.
And you would see.
So this is the current.
This is current here. Okay. You would see the Denton Senior Center.
And we were here earlier.
And you see
today.
the Civic Center where you were over here. Then you're going to see the Woman's Building, which you'll see over here, this there. And then over this area will be the post office, the city buildings that are established now. But beginning all the way back, as the lady told you before, going all the way back to the period of time of 1875, when those 25 families moved over from white settlement and came to Denton and to Freemantown, as you heard earlier. They then developed what we call Quaker. Later on, it was known as Quakertown. First, it was known as Quaker. It's approximately 349 people, some white, but mostly black, that lived in Quaker. But then this started, then the idea come, as we said earlier, in 1877, they said there would be a school. 1875, 1877, it really came to fruition. It was stated by the county judge that there would be a school for the colored children.
Yeah.
But the school wasn't established until 25 years later to actually have a building.
So real quick, colored school number 17 was mentioned earlier. Is that the one that
The
you're
same
referring
school.
to? Okay.
Yes, the same school.
Now, did they go by, so in Delaware, they have a number system. So it'd be colored school, like it was colored school number 1, number 2. So was that the line of thinking? So would have that been the 17th school?
And that was
Or
the
was
only
that
school.
just-
Now, where they get the 17 from, we'll have to get more
So we don't know.
information.
Okay.
But there wasn't 16 schools before
Okay,
that.
gotcha.
No, that what drove people here was the idea that there could possibility of having a school here.
Okay.
So once the county judge said, yes, there will be a school, it was 25 years later when they actually had a building. Now,
Golly.
that period of time, as Sister Clark was telling you, that the St. James AME Church was already established in 1875. So they actually were having classes in that building. After they erected a building, they actually were having classes at the St. James AME Church.
Okay.
So but that period of time, the school was established about 1895. There was a building. The building stayed there until 1913. 1913, the month of September, just before the school had opened, the people came and the school caught on fire, we'll say. They came and burned the building down.
Yeah.
Well, immediately the black people that were there at the time, of course, we were Negroes, they were going to start to build another school.
Sure.
Immediately. Just like what happened in Oklahoma in 1921 in the months of May. In the last day of the month, right into the 1st of June, the people immediately started to rebuild. They told them, well, if you start rebuilding now here in 1913, we're going to burn it down again. So the best thing for you to do is to relocate your school. Where can we relocate it? You'll relocate it approximately about 2.5 miles south, a place called southeast of Denton. And they went there and established a school in 1916. The Fred Douglass School was established in the community which we call now the new Quaker area. Now that school is called Fred Moore High School. School was named Fred Moore in 1949 after the principal himself, along with the Fred Moore Park, around that same period of time, 1948, 1949. He was a very educated man. He was very established in the city. He was very respected. His daughter, which was Alice Alexander, which you met a little earlier, she was my first grade teacher. But ironically, she was also my mother's first grade teacher.
Oh, wow.
So she was my mother. My mother died at the age of 92 back in 2014.
Oh, wow.
So that was my mom's first grade teacher and
Yeah,
my,
both of y'all.
both of us.
You know, you usually get, I had your sister, I had your brother.
Right.
But you don't ever, you rarely hear, I had your mama too, right?
Had your mom, but she was a very, very young girl at the time. Of course, she was able to go and teach school because a little later on, her dad, which was very prominent, allowed her to teach in the school.
Okay.
So then later on, of course, she got credentials and a lot of things that happened. But as a young girl, she was there as the first grade teacher. And I'll tell you, I'm a good teacher.
That's good.
Because I always tell people, when I came to first grade, I never went to nursery school. I didn't go to pre-kindergarten. I never did any of that coming up. And I'm identical twin also. So when I got there in the first grade, I was a blank sheet.
Yeah.
I knew nothing. And I'm telling you right now, and I'll put the brag on it like this. I work for 5 corporations now, and I've been a manager at all those corporations: Pitney Bowes, Saffron, Boeing, Lockheed, General Telephone, served in the Air Force as a crew chief. And remember, I went first grade, and I knew nothing.
Yeah.
This woman, Alice Alexander, would teach us and taught us to read and to write beginning in the first grade, knowing that we were very limited, but she did it.
She did her thing.
And I know many of the people now have been teachers at TWU. They've been assistant teachers at the high school from that same first grade. So she did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Now in the Southeast Denton area, we're blessed to have 5 neighborhoods that have been established all the way back to 1922. And now we have Solomon Hill area. Now we have New Quaker area. And that's where the Fred Moore School is located now, still there today.
Where is that at in relation to the map?
Well, in the Fred Moore School, now this is all Quakertown Park.
Okay.
But when just to digress just for a second, if you go to the park, if we were walking to the park, this would be the parking lot where you were today. This would be, on this side, would be what we call Bell Avenue. This would be Oakland. This would be Withers. This would be TWU up here. And this is all Quaker and all the residents here. So if I look through here, if I was to point you out where you were this morning at the Civic Center,
Yep.
right at the Civic Center, right across in the back would be the St. James AME Church first established.
Okay. And that's
Along-
where they were holding school prior to the school
Having a building.
So right
right
we're
here,
talking right there.
right there. And coincidentally, I'll just mention my great-grandfather's house was right across the street from the church. Although we ended up being AME, we ended up being Baptist in the end. But that's another story. So then when we came on up, you come up here and you'll see at the Denton, here's the senior center. See that? But then right here, you'll see the Fred Douglass School was right there where you see adjacent to.
Yep. Senior center.
And then right behind that, Pleasant Grove Missionary Baptist Church.
Yeah.
So you got St. James AME Church, go up a little bit further, the Pleasant Grove Missionary Baptist Church. You go up a little bit farther, you see that over here is the, I believe it says the Women's Pavilion, the Women's Building. And then you go up a little bit farther, the St. Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church. That church was established there in the Quaker. So there's three.
Now, were any of these spin-off churches from other churches?
No.
Okay, so these were all
of
established
established
okay,
churches.
So it wasn't, because sometimes in some communities you see where there may be a beef within the congregation.
That's later on.
Okay, you said it's later on.
That's later on. And now you got to get up into the 1950s, 1960s. Because actually, as you just mentioned, the St. Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church, out of that church now is the Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church.
I got
They
you.
came up out of that church where the Ediths were members. They came out of the St. Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church, which is now, out of that church came the Moore Street Missionary Baptist Church in 1984. So yeah, they did. It happens. It's still happening. Now we've kind of slowed that down a little bit now. But you know, we're gonna have to. We got to split anyway. So it's just it's a great history of the city of Southeast Denton. Great history where we have a cemetery where I lived on Prairie Street. I lived in that house until 1964. But that was where I could look out my kitchen window at my house right into the graveyard. But then when I looked into the graveyard, that's where the white folks were buried. I'd have to go up a little hill a little bit and see where the colored folks are buried. Now we're all buried together. We die together and we bury together. You know how that works.
Yep, yep.
Was it tough living here through segregation? In a way, yes, because you had to go around to the back, but you knew to go around to the back. It's called inculcation. So we did that and went through that until 1964 when it started integrating around here. And then 1965, the schools were integrated. The school last year for Fred Moore School was 1967. And then everybody went we went to the white school. Now the white school is everybody's school now.
Yeah.
And now instead of having just one school, now we got 5 high schools in the city of Denton. So it has changed. A lot of things have changed, but it has changed for the good. I only have one thing to say bad about
What was
it.
that?
Boy, when I went back to school and came from California on vacation, and they told me they had integrated the school, and I came back and went to school that day in 1965 in September. I went to that school, and half the students were gone. Because you have to think about it. We live in Denton, but we had children coming from Louisville, Pilot Point, Sanger, all came to Denton for school. So we had a big school, had a tremendous football team. When I got there, just about my class dropped from having 45 people in the class. I got back here and I had 24. Those 24 ended up being 14. So was integration good? Well, yes, to a point. But our football team went down, people left. We ended up playing against them instead of playing with them.
And we are in the state of Texas.
So that's the thing that happened about integration, the part about it that I didn't like when I came back from my last senior year. And I finished my years at Fred Moore School. Of course, you know, they thought everybody was going to go out to the white school. We didn't.
Yes.
A lot of us stayed there at the Fred Moore School.
We know how serious you all take y'all's football.
Take it serious.
The story of Quakertown reminds us that history isn't just found in history books. It lives in the voices, memories, and places around us. Thank you for joining us on this journey through a community that still inspires strength and remembrance a century later. If this story moved you, please subscribe, share this video, and help us keep these important histories alive. Until next time, thank you for watching and for remembering Quakertown, Texas.